People have.
Oh,
No.
just one sec.
No, let's.
Wait, don't press that.
No. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Please.
People have many other senses, the nature of which they are aware or unaware.
Yeah. So, now, I think the following paragraph is related as well. So, and the paragraph, bullet point, yeah.
The point of reliance or support and the point of seeking help are two.
No, the knowledge of God is.
The knowledge of God. Oh,
Yeah.
The one after that? Okay. Knowledge of God is a point of support and reliance for people.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, we have discovered this point of support and point of reliance. So, I think apart from these needs, human needs, which looks for point of support, we said in a very brief way, point of support for existence and continuation of the existence, not falling into annihilation or non-existence. And point of reliance also for relying on something or something so that their expectations will be fully fulfilled. It means human needs are to be fulfilled. But of course, the question remains: what are our expectations? So we have many senses. So we may be aware, we may not be aware, but we usually are accustomed with the sense of 5 external bodily senses, which can be represented in bodily forms like eyes, ears, and tongue, skin, etc. But other human senses, very human senses, everybody experiences it, are neglected in the modern world. So not really people are aware of it culturally, but they practice it. Although we practice it, we may not be aware of their existence in us. The problem in general, people don't think of themselves. What am I? Don't think. What is the reason for it? You can guess. Why we don't think of ourselves as who are we? What are we? Why do you think? Or am I right for my judgment? People usually don't think of themselves. What I am.
I guess my thoughts are that I do think people have those questions, but do they constantly or continuously make that a concern? I don't think that happens because we either, I'll use the word, distract ourselves with more temporary satisfactions, which tend to fulfill our expectations in the short term.
But which kind of expectations usually are taking notes of?
Let's just say I can't say non-human expectations because some of them are, but
mainly non-human.
I would say,
animal.
yeah.
It means getting nice food,
But even
and
things like happiness,
impressing other people.
right?
But impressing, okay, happiness in terms of happiness. I want to be happy in terms of what?
Well, I think that's the thing. The question is still somewhat there. It's just that the solutions are not the right solutions. So therefore, we often distract ourselves by trying to fulfill even human expectations, but with more temporary. I don't know what the right word would be. Solutions,
Yeah, temporary satisfaction.
right?
I like the temporary satisfaction because I feel that what is in the air, in the civilization, is first to be bodily satisfied.
Mhm.
And the second, excuse me to use this language, but we have to be, free to use this language, sexual satisfaction. The third, impress others. Impress others with your clothes, with your appearance, with your language, with your status, financial status, or usually apparent things. You may be, for example, in the culture, which is worldwide culture, you may be poor, but you have to wear the brand name. Or I think brand name is in it.
Mhm.
So, and they show it. Calvin Klein jeans. Or here, out. Not inside. It used to be inside. The labels used to be inside or here at the back. Now it is here or here, on your heart, here. Yeah, on your heart. They know the human weakness. Now, but it is not human weakness. It is the weakness of this civilization, not human weakness. But we fall into the trap because we don't have direction, we don't have purpose for our life. The main reason why we don't have purpose, we don't have
Direction.
Sorry?
You use the word direction.
Direction for our life because we don't hear this. Even, for example, let's speak about the Muslim world. What do they talk about in the Muslim world? In the first line, how do you say, headline subject is prosperity of the Muslims and hegemony of the Muslims. Not hegemony, maybe it is a big word. Getting the administrative power on the Muslims, Muslim people who identify themselves as Islam, not really paying attention to whether the actions are Islamically justified according to Islamic rules or expectations or teachings. No. But as long as a ruler identifies himself with Islam and speaks some very outward words, something like using the word Allah, inshallah, a very popular vocabulary, that's it. Is it right? That's what I see in the Muslim world. But this material prosperity comes first. But as far as the Muslims are concerned, Muslim people's material prosperity takes over the precedence to everything. That's what I see. That's why we don't really think about what human beings are or what we are. So we don't pay attention to our human qualities. Although practically, for example, if I want to impress, it's a very famous expression, whether it is used in English or not, impress your neighbor, in American English. Yeah, it's very commonly used, impress your neighbor. No, have you heard?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, but it is very common in British English. So, impress your neighbor, it means everything, in fact. But the first thing, impress your neighbor. Show off in the reality. So, you may have been living, or the people may have been living in a bedroom, in a room which has no window, but to live in Manhattan. So the address is important. Yeah. So now they are, I heard that it is becoming fashion in Manhattan. There are apartments, studio apartments, which are almost as big as a single room, but individual apartment and cheap. So just to live in Manhattan, although it is the air is not fresh, greenery is very rare to see, and it's almost impossible to hear any bird is singing. No running water. This is what I mean. No view, really, just buildings. But I live in Manhattan. Impress your neighbor. Nothing more than this. We are lost in this, within this culture, we are lost about this. What is that?
Oh, that's fine. You can ignore
Close?
it. Yeah.
Well, this cultural influence on us. That's why we don't discover what is expected of us here. For example, I need the point of support for me, for my own human needs, point of support. Not only I don't want to lose my health, which is bodily need, valid. It's not that we shouldn't take notice of it, but it's not really human need. Human, as far as the human side of us is concerned. We don't think how valuable we are because we are not aware that we have so many different expectations and feelings. We are not aware. That's why this bullet point says people have many other senses, the nature of which they are aware or unaware. So we have to be aware. So we have to, if we really investigate for a point of support for my human needs, if I concentrate on the human needs and find them out and investigate all those needs, I will understand that nothing in this world can play a role of point of support for me because of the awareness of my need. Now people, usually, I am not blaming people, the culture, this is the culture or civilization that is invading or that has already invaded the whole world, concentrates on this. What do you want that I didn't satisfy you? All the state says, what do you want then? You want job? Yes. The unemployment percentage dropped to such and such small number. Job is everywhere. Housing, and yeah, you can work and make money, and there are houses that you can rent. Possible. But you have to have the income first. All is about this. Am I right or wrong? Is an exaggeration? Is it an exaggeration?
No.
Yes. As long as you have an income, that's it. You can get married easily. Good income and stable profession. That is all about in the primary concern about the primary concern of this civilization. Do you have a job and profession, good profession? That's it. So we have to think about it. Well, which kind of feelings I have and what can satisfy these feelings. Look for it. You will understand that if you discover yourself, if we discover ourselves, we won't be satisfied with what this civilization offers to us. We will say it's just trick. It's treating me not a human being. And false solutions. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a profession, of course. I mean, there is no need to say about people, they have fixed mind. They say, I'm going to work because they are obsessed by it. So we never mean this at all. Yeah. So, which kind of feelings we have? Would you like to list?
Bad feelings or good feelings?
Good feelings. So bad feelings means to escape from. That is also a need. I have to escape from. If you make a survey and ask people, what do you want to satisfy yourself about? What?
Happiness.
What is happiness? There. What is happiness? Where do you think you can find happiness? Now, in general, we are analyzing the culture so that we will realize that how we are fallen into a pitfall. So we don't really question ourselves.
Sorry, am I giving a cultural answer? Or
Yeah,
am I giving
cultural
my
answer.
Oh,
Cultural.
buy things and products.
Anything you want. Yeah, new fashion. So 7 years old machine is not out of, it cannot be even repaired. Because no one bothers about it. I was so surprised to see that. Really. Okay. I think we have to finish this. Would you like to say something else about this subject?
I think people don't know what they want.
So we have to know. Yeah, that's what we are trying to wake ourselves up and be aware of what we need, what we don't need. Yeah, what we need. So yes, no one wants to be hurt. Okay. No, everybody wants to be respected. Yeah, human honor. That's correct. But why? Why do you want all this? In order to satisfy what? It is the most, almost the strangest question to ask to anyone, as far as my life experience tells me, late life experience tells me. How do you see, how do you value your existence? Who are you? It is the most, disturbing question. Who am I? I am. Yeah? What do you mean who am I? I am. That's why I am here. it's a big question. It's a very wide subject, actually. So we have to think ourselves, what do we really need?
But that thinking is not making us happy. And you start thinking, you don't feel good, and then you just don't want to think anymore.
You run away from it, correct? What we do, we run away from. Anything? So
I mean, I guess like in part, I find myself existing and I try to make sense of my existence and I am offered these different things within the culture or civilization I find myself in. In a way, it's inevitable for me to take what is offered to me. Like it's in front of me, everyone is offering it. So at one point I take it, but then through my disappointment with the outcome of receiving over and over and over again these things which are meant to make me happy, then I guess I can use that feeling of disappointment at least to know that which I don't want, even if I don't necessarily know what I do want, which look to one another as well, as a starting point at least.
we don't, what I understand, do you think we know what we want?
What do you mean by no?
I mean, do you think we are aware of what we want?
I don't think so, but I think that through different experiences, I become aware of what I don't want.
Excuse me, what did you say?
I said,
Do you?
yeah.
Do you too?
Through different experiences, I become aware of what I don't want.
Such as?
Okay,
I mean, we are not talking now in terms of, or I feel that you are not talking now in terms of civilization or the values of this civilization, present day civilization, but you are talking about yourself. So,
I mean, in a way, it's intertwined because I find myself living in this civilization.
yeah,
So I'm trying to make sense of myself within the context I find myself in. But so very simply, I guess, like let's say there's a brand of ice cream that's like the branding and everything, it sells happiness to me, and I buy it and I eat it and I feel happy. But even as I eat it, I am aware of its transient nature, and I can't really actually enjoy the ice cream because I know that the glimmer of enjoyment that I taste for a millisecond is already gone the moment I become aware of the situation. It's not like it's going to go away. It's already gone by the time I become aware.
so as a result, do you need to look for any way to perpetuate dissatisfaction as a human being? Do you feel that? How can I perpetuate dissatisfaction?
I try.
Do you feel it?
Yeah.
So do you find, or could you find any answer to this? Have you found an answer to this? How can you perpetuate dissatisfaction?
I think as a starting point, becoming aware of the fact that the happiness that I feel is not stemming from or is not based on or dependent on the ice cream itself. The ice cream is a placeholder for something that through it I experience something, but it's not the source or the source of existence of the happiness. So again, as a starting point, my perception of ice cream shifts because I question, is my interactions with the ice cream bringing forth both the happiness that I feel for a second as well as the suffering that I feel immediately afterwards.
How can you go beyond ice cream?
Questioning this relationship that I have with the ice cream and with the feeling that I find myself with in my interactions with the ice cream.
Well, your questioning means what do you think you can do? How do you question it?
The quality of happiness cannot be subject cannot be subject to the material aspect of the ice cream itself. It's and even the suffering that comes about it afterwards too. So in my understanding of my experience with whatever it is that I'm interacting with, I find myself with these feelings that are coming to me as a result of not necessarily thinking about how to word it. They look to be the feelings themselves look to something beyond that which I'm materially or immediately interacting with. There's another, I don't know if I like this wording, but like another sphere or level or dimension of meaning or understanding for me there.
And this description, as far as I can follow, is very abstract. Well, how can I do it practically? So here is the ice cream. I like it, and I eat the ice cream. But as soon as I eat ice cream, the pleasure disappears, and maybe I need to repeat eating the ice cream in another time, in another time, in another time, in order to replenish it. Is it the solution? Yes or no? If yes, or is it really human satisfaction? No. How can I get out of this vicious circle? No, by looking for the satisfaction in repetition of eating the ice cream. Is it the solution? First, the question.
No.
No. Okay. What is the solution then? But I want to be satisfied. That's human. Okay. What is the solution then? How can I get out of this circle? So you can eat ice cream in another time, no problem. We are not talking about that you shouldn't eat it. Once is enough, that's it. No, but still, if I repeat it, I will feel the same lacking of satisfaction because it gets disappeared. And how long I can repeat this circle? And to what end?
And when you say circle, you're talking about the exchange between me and the ice cream, right?
Exchange?
Exchange meaning the interaction or engagement of me and another thing in its temporariness. That's
How
what
can I get out of this circle?
I don't think the answer is to, just so I'm understanding the question, I don't think the large, maybe this is what you're saying. You don't necessarily need to get out of it because there is satisfaction, temporary satisfaction in that thing. It's just that what are you, again, the destination comes in handy. Like, are you utilizing that exchange or interaction with that ice cream in the direction where it's more long lasting?
For example, how can I make
for
it
me,
more long lasting?
I think it comes down to like purpose and meaning. Questioning those two things tend to extend well beyond the temporary interaction or limitation due to the exchange between me and anything else, such as the ice cream. So the moment you are reflecting on the purpose or meaning behind the ice cream's existence, as far as this example is concerned, that does not end.
So how can I do that?
Reflecting.
To reflecting on what and what for what purpose? Well, how
Right.
am I going to do that? Reflect. How can you do? How can you establish the process?
Right. So I think you
Go
have
for
to have
reflecting.
right. So I think reflecting is more or less the answer to a larger question, which is, what is all of this for? And again, like questioning your own existence, which I think requires one to first reflect and come to a conclusion where they're mindful or have answered this most particular existential question, which is, at the time of death, is everything basically going into non-existence, or does it continue?
But shall I wait until the time of death?
No. I'm saying the question needs to be answered, but it doesn't need to be answered at the time of death.
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer for anyone is death is non-existence and nothing else matters at that point, then there's that person or that individual cannot look into the meaning or purpose behind the ice cream. It's pointless. Then you are essentially trapped in the cycle or circle, as you were saying. You're just constantly repeating the eating of ice cream to temporarily satisfy your desires. Versus if you say death is not the end of existence and there is more to my existence, then everything that you experience before death has a purpose.
I'm still looking for a practical solution. Who can help me? So not everybody is, not only is the person who speaks. How can I practically get out of the circle that I need satisfaction? Ice cream is there and it gives me satisfaction, but this is a temporary satisfaction which disturbs me. Is there any way to perpetuate this satisfaction? How can I do it practically? Any answer? Practically tell me, Ali, do this and you will get out of the circle. Circle of what? Needing the satisfaction to remain in me and fulfilling that need. How can I make it perpetual satisfaction? Which kind of process I should follow?
There's nothing you can do physically. There's no difference in your physical action. I can't say
what I am I expected to do, not physically go and beat up the ice cream producers, or no, not that, obvious. So what shall I do that I can? How shall I do? What shall I do that I can get rid of this endless need of repetition in order to perpetuate my satisfaction?
to pinpoint what is that need or lacking pointing to. So in my interaction with ice cream, I feel pain or suffering because there's a sense of need for security in knowing that my experience with the ice cream is not just this one-time thing, that it holds some sort of meaning for me, that it's not just something I eat and then it goes away. There has, at least my human side looks to some sort of permanent meaning that I can extract from it, that will stay with me, that is not dependent on the physical material ice cream itself. So
Yeah.
my problem there is the problem looks to my need for this long-lasting or meaningfulness in the experience that I can carry with me, the sense of security or certainty to the level that I can be certain, a sense of confidence in extracting some sort of meaning for myself that makes that experience more than just a physical transaction.
What shall I do? How can I do that? That's my question. How can I do that? So, of course, I need perpetual satisfaction. How can I do that? Practically.
I think it's a matter of being mindful, because the way that you're phrasing the question implies that you can get out of it.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. That's what I,
Right.
because it must be, I am a human being.
Right.
If I have this, if I have been given this, or if I have or have been given, depending on one's attitude, this is a need for satisfaction, there must be a way for it.
Right. So since there is a way,
Hmm.
I think, and one's own understanding of themselves, you have to include the physical aspect of it, and which we've already established that physically
Yeah.
you're still doing the same interaction. You're still in the
Yeah.
circle or the cycle. The non-physicalness, the meaningfulness, the consciousness, the awareness of that interaction or of that experience that we're experiencing here and now, that can change. And the moment you look to fulfilling those things temporarily, you're not getting out of that circle. You're still experiencing the pain. You're still experiencing the suffering. The moment you change your direction and say, what I'm experiencing now is well beyond, or is coming with me, or I'm experiencing this well beyond the current limitations of it, then I think there's contentment in your awareness that one person prefers to live with.
But how can I find it? There must be a way.
I think, I don't know, for me, it's a little bit more simple, I feel. It's,
So that's a very simple, yes, make it
I
simple.
mean, for me, it's whatever is the source of the need is the source of the satisfaction. Just
Okay.
like whenever I have a question, the answer is in the question itself.
Yes,
You know?
okay.
So whatever is the source of my need must also be the source of my satisfaction. And so the moment I have a need, I know that it's going to be taken care of. It's
So-
going
so,
to be
okay.
satisfied.
Okay, how can I make sure that it is going to be taken care of?
Because of the fact that I have the need. The existence of the need
Okay, there
immediately
must be a
points-
way. No, there must be a way out of this vicious circle. So
It's not a circle.
it is a circle because I feel that ice cream is satisfying me, and I need this sense of satisfaction perpetual. And how can I make it? There must be a way. Of course, there must be a way of finding this, but practically, what am I supposed to do? This reminds me the practice of one's awareness of the how do you say this one without falling into a prejudice? If I am created with this need, made with this need, which I didn't produce it, though this source must satisfy it. But how? How can I get the satisfaction practically? It means this is my conclusion. This source must satisfy it. How can I reach this source? There must be a way of reaching this source. Practically, what should I do in this world?
And all my
Yeah.
needs are being constantly satisfied. The most human of my needs must also be satisfied. I mean, I think
How? They are not perpetually satisfied in this world.
no, but immediately, like if I want to put this pen here, I'm able to put it here. That's I had a need, it's satisfied.
Okay.
Like constantly, I'm faced with needs, and constantly,
Okay,
they're satisfied.
tell me, I'm eating the ice cream now.
If I can conclude that the source of my existence, the source of existence of this universe, is an absolute one, must be an absolute one, then the satisfaction of my needs looks to eternal satisfaction because the source is eternal. The source is absolute.
Now, the source of it must be eternal, but practically, what shall I do? Because I wonder what is the best way of living in this world. No, which makes it possible for me to live in this world according to my general umbrella conclusion, which means there must be a source of satisfaction. But practically in this world,
I think aligning my actions, my speech with my mindset. Because I'm living in a physical state, right? I have a body, I talk, so like these are all physical aspects, if you will. And so whatever conclusion I have in my mindset, it's about putting my actions and my speech in the same frequency. And by virtue of my actions and speech, those are constant pointers or reminders of that same conclusion that I have. So it's being in sync, if you will, in my entire humanness.
So do you think, for example, when I eat the ice cream, I felt a temporary satisfaction, but how can I make it permanent satisfaction? So go to the room and pray there. Is it the solution?
No.
So perform your ritualistic prayer.
No, I think it's in the exchange, like in the interaction of the ice cream.
How can I find this in the interaction of the ice cream? That
Well-
makes me feel happy.
I'm gonna try to visualize this because that's just how I understand it.
Yeah.
if
Without getting
there's
the
a-
answer, where are the coins? Okay.
I'm gonna go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
So if there's an ice cream in front of me and as I'm tasting it, in that very moment, before I taste it or as I'm about to taste it, I have a choice
Yeah.
to say, this tasted good, and that's it. Just stop reflecting on that right then and there. I call that the temporary bucket. And
Mhm.
the way that I visualize this temporary bucket is that it's literally a bucket with a hole in it. Anything that I put in there, it just goes away. Like it doesn't retain.
Why? Yeah. Why do you
because-
think?
because-
Why do you describe in this way the case in this way?
And I define that based on like my mindfulness and my awareness of the purpose of the experience. So to simplify this more, if I think of my life as just experiencing things in the moment and that's it, then I guess fulfilling my satisfaction in the moment and that's it, then that's my mindfulness, that's my awareness, and therefore the bucket has a hole in it. There's a flaw in it, because my human concerns or my human needs look for the eternity of the experiences rather than the temporary satisfaction.
Closer. I feel that closer. Why? According to my expectations, it was closer. To my expectation, give me a practical solution for it, rather than using the general umbrella conclusions like, the creator of the universe must satisfy my the need for perpetual or permanent satisfaction. That is correct, but practically, how can I do it? I will listen to. Did I give you the?
No, it's okay.
No, please, and then talk. Yeah, you use your first right. Sorry. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say that just being mindful that the ice cream is not the one that's satisfying us. It's not the ice cream, so get rid of the ice cream.
How do you know it's not ice cream? How can I get out of this? Very
Because
good
you
point.
still you want to repeat that action and it still doesn't satisfy you perpetually.
So-
that's how you know it's not the ice cream.
So that's an excellent approach to go. I mean, one step ahead, advanced. So it is not the ice cream that satisfies me. You were going to say the same.
Basically, the same idea.
So
Not to
you
give the
whisper at each
credit-
other, and that's
Something
yeah,
like-
okay.
Not to give the credit of satisfaction to that.
Yeah, the question is, how can I not give the credit of satisfaction to the ice cream? Go back to
By
what we heard. Yeah.
shifting my focus on something else, since this one will always
How can I shift my focus on something else? Why
being
should
aware
I?
that this one will always dissatisfy me. You know?
No. Okay, I think we are very close as far as my expectation is concerned. There is the Quranic teaching is so amazing, but so puzzling. It is simple, but not simply put it, so that you can reflect on it. For example, in the Quran, the speaker, God says, we will call those people on the day. It was every day, actually, every moment. Okay. Now, let your idols, which is in the Quran, idols means anything you worship beside God. It means anything you attribute the source of anything you want, all your feelings. This is ice cream is a practical example. Beside the creator of the universe and the creator of this ice cream, you will be left with it now. Okay, ask it to satisfy you. What does it mean? Very simple. You said it. Ice cream is not the source of satisfaction, cannot be the source of satisfaction. How can I go to this process? This is practical. That is the way of living, practicing your belief. Practicing your belief is only possible, in my understanding, within the action itself, questioning the source, whether the satisfaction, which you experience satisfaction in the ice cream, don't you? Temporarily, but somehow, that's why we keep eating it. We keep repeating the same things. We want to go this way, for example, for holiday, this place exciting, another time, another place exciting, new experience. We want to renew, yeah, by repetition. Shouldn't we do that? I don't think so. It is not the solution. Whatever you are looking for, and you use and employ a means here in this world. Whatever you are looking for, you have to use it in this world. You cannot for example, believe in the creator in an abstract sense. It must be practical. That's why I kept forced everybody, give me practical solutions. Again, Quran says, okay, ask your idol. Now I understood that ice cream itself, thinking that ice cream is the source of satisfaction or the pleasure, although it is temporary, but it is the source of satisfaction of a temporary taste. Do you understand? Quran says, question it. Can it be even temporarily the source of satisfaction at all? Question it. It means make your understanding, expectations practical in this world. Don't run away from this world. While living in this world, in your interaction with the world, you have to question the things you are interacting with, whether they can be the source of anything at all. It means, with the very famous phrase we use in these classes, first, to start practicing with the suggestion of the Quranic terminology, which track I should follow within the action itself, find out whether it is La ilaha or not. That is practicing one's belief. We have to do it. We have to practice it. Whatever I am doing in this world, always be aware. That is awareness of your interaction with the thing. I'm doing this. Is it the source of my expectations? Or is it a means where, like a screen, source of my satisfaction demonstrates himself to me? So question the screen. Everything is a screen. They say it in the Islamic literature, this universe is a veil. But veil is not that usually certain traditions use it as a covering up. No, as a screen of the TV, whatever you call it, screen. So everything manifests itself there, but screen is not the source of it. La ilaha. Process. That was I was looking for the secret word. Can the ice cream always, whether ice cream or any other thing that your visit of your mother, for example, your beloved friend, I want to see him, I missed him, we have to gossip and talk about our past history and shared experience together. Okay, satisfaction. Can this speech and interaction be the source of satisfaction, or is it a screen? If you don't question it, whatever else you do, all night you pray, you cannot practice your belief. That's what I understood. You cannot practice your belief. Practicing your belief is not leaving the practical experience of the world aside and going into certain actions. Don't shift it. Find the cure within the disease. What is the disease here in this example? No, seeing that ice cream is satisfying me, though temporarily. No, even temporarily, ice cream doesn't satisfy you. Question it. Can it be, first of all, can it be the source of existence of taste by itself? Does it know you? Does it recognize your need for satisfaction? Does it? Question it. Question it. I take, alhamdulillah, many people, okay, medical, chemical people, but other supplements as well, I am advised to take. But to be truthful, otherwise it is not none of anybody's business. It's my business. But when I take any of them, I am expected to question, do I need something by using this? That's why I'm using them in order to satisfy my need? Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Otherwise, why should I do it? Although it costs me sometimes stomach upset or something. I was going to ask you something about it. So what shall I do? So shall I stop it? I've been a bit troubled by it. So anyways, I need that. I'm interacting with this. Can I run away from it and go to prayer room or take my prayer mat and start praying or fasting most of the weeks, for example, most days of the week? It is not the solution. It is just being lazy, not question. Whether can you be the Quran keeps saying, here, call all your idols. Now, the Quran doesn't use idols really. He uses call or whatever you replaced God with, min dunillah, beside God, apart from God, actually, not beside God, no, apart from God. Ice cream can be, or my pills can be, or the clothes I'm wearing can be, everything I am interacting with. And not only for the sense of satisfaction, for the sense of loving, for the sense of being loved, taken care of, respecting or being respected, whatever you say. For example, fully satisfied life, so that you will be comfortable in your existence, whatever you have or you don't have, even you don't have, as I need this, but I don't have it. How can I get rid of this missing or lackings or shortcomings in my life? Always question this. Are you replacing by this the Creator who put that needs in you? So go this process of reflection always. Practically say, for example, you are drinking coffee, all right? Is it coffee or the tea, whatever? What's the coffee? So it's coffee. So why do you want in the morning? I feel good. Question. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't drink coffee. Now, depends on your need. Is that real need or artificial or fashion? Or I don't know. But you have to question. That's something else. It's beside the question now. Now, you need satisfaction in this way in order to feel happy, etc. Because we need to be happy in this world. That's a very fair expectation. I want to be happy. I don't want to be a miserable person. I don't want to be deprived of anything as much as I can have it. No. If you have it, you have it. So you don't have to run away from that. Well, God suffices me. God is sufficient for me. I don't need coffee. It's not the solution because it has no base. God created you in this world. if you are created by God. We have to understand that. If I am put in this world within these conditions, it means here I am. But of course, we have to be, let's side subject, an anecdote. This civilization imposes needs on us. We have to watch out for it. This is not our subject now. But you are drinking. While you are drinking coffee, you are not the sort of satisfaction. You are a screen. Screen of what? Your source of existence. Demonstrating my source of existence. The source of my need for satisfaction. So you are a present. You are a gift from my Creator in order to appreciate Him. This is what, inshallah, we have to concentrate on. How can I communicate with the world by always keeping in mind that the world and myself as well, is nothing, we are nothing but screens of the qualities of the source of existence, of everything. So see, for example, if someone says, coffee or the ice cream, we'll go back to ice cream. No one is eating ice cream now. So they shouldn't feel personal. So ice cream. So seeing that ice cream is an opportunity for me. To understand how the program of the computer is working. For example, TV screen, it is an opportunity for me. For what? To discover what the broadcasters are telling. Mostly lie, but so made up stories or really not shaped, manipulated stories. That's why they are lying. They usually lie. So manipulated, in the presentation. But whatever, for the sake of example, take it as an example. What they are telling us, so becomes obvious to you by looking at the TV screen. So you have to use the TV screen in order to broadcasters to hear them. La ilaha process is the way to practice one's belief in the Creator, because most of the people, majority of the people, very few exceptions, I don't believe that they are sincere too. They are sincere either. They are not sincere because they have political agenda. They have certain misunderstanding of the presentation of the concept of God and religion. That is their reaction. That is their, I don't think within themselves they can be satisfied at all with their own conclusions. That's their reaction. Otherwise, human beings by nature, they know that there must be a source of existence in this world. But we don't think about it. That's our problem. But when we think about it, we say, there must be something. Now, I keep repeating this example. Even the primitive societies, they don't know the word God or in the language of the Quran, Allah. They know the spirit of the things, right? They acknowledge it, but they don't know what to do. Do you understand? Yeah, I acknowledge it, but how can I reach? How can I communicate with? They feel obliged that they have to do something what they don't know. But the Quran excuses them, saying that I don't accuse or really take to task any people that I have not sent the prophet, the messenger, so that they will teach La ilaha illallah. But I think the prophetic mission is based on La ilaha illallah. How do we practice it? How do you really put into practice within the very sophisticated relationship of this world with, our expectation, our relationships are not expectation. Relationships with this world is very complicated, not a simple one. So how can I get out of this, how do you say, the knot, if you like. The knot. Everything is not mingled up. What is the word? If you put the cables are within each other, what do you call it? Tangle. Yeah. How can I get out of this tangle? It's very easy. To me, it's extremely easy. Question the source of existence of anything you expect from them. For example, you have seen something on the screen, question the source of existence of that sentence, that word, or that letter on the screen, whether the screen can be the source of it. So simple. To me, so simple to practice one's conclusion that the universe must have a source of existence. Unfortunately, what we do, we make the solution outside where the solution is. Run away from it because I understand this. It is difficult to keep consciousness of this questioning. It is hard to question why you are doing this. It's very hard to question. For example, I will go out of this meeting, not everybody, after the end, and take an subway. So, what am I doing? Taking a subway. Why? Because I want to go home. I need to be there. Okay, that's the word. We said running away from the word, running away from reality, saying that I need God, only the creator, nothing else. And I'm not going to take the subway, for example, or drive a car, whatever you do, or walk, or sit there. It is not the solution at all, because we are created in this world. Because it is there is a word, I found then a man who makes commentary on the Quran, uses this word, but I don't remember now. Let me say the similar meaning, this synonymous. It is a recreation of the correction center, but it's called a temporary period that you... Rehabilitation. No, another word, not another word. Rehabilitation, it is a... but a kind of correction, not that there is another word. This man uses this word, but I missed it now. It is a kind of training, rehabilitation, and how do you say, not judging, no, education center, this word is training center, not rehabilitation, but you can use to check synonyms for correction, rehabilitation.
Therapy.
Sorry?
Therapy.
No. Something like wrong. Something like rehabilitation, a little bit. Can you check it? Can
Refinement?
Sorry?
Refinement?
No. Something like. Did you find anyone? This is a beautiful word. I want to remember it.
Is it a technical word?
No. It's a very common word.
Recuperation? Reconstruction? Reconstruction.
No, not the reconstruction, construction. You know, you are here to prepare yourself for a higher degree of life, if you like. Higher status of life. I am not.
Recuperation.
No,
No.
okay, not the correction.
Rebirth.
No. Use the word correction and look at for the okay, maybe we don't have time for
Yeah.
Rectification.
sorry,
Rectification.
rectification.
Reparation.
Sorry,
Reparation.
preparation. It's something like that. Okay, all right. I think you get it. Here, what we do here, the simplest word is prepare, training ourselves here in order to prepare ourselves for a higher degree of life, if you like, higher status of human experience. Here, everything is in this world, everything is temporary. But we have to prepare ourselves here in order to get ready to live in a permanent satisfaction place, which is called in the language of the Quran or all scriptures paradise. Permanent satisfaction place. But we have to get ready for it. How can we get ready for it? By rejecting that the things themselves cannot be the source of anything, any quality they are given. The things are nothing but screens. Just nothing but screens. That is why it needs a constant consciousness and resolution. Always I will question, is it the source? Can you be the source? Can you be the source of the qualities I am expecting to satisfy through you? It is exciting. Otherwise, what we do, we run away from this training. It needs full concentration. It is difficult for us because we are not used to concentrating on one subject. What we do, we say, okay, I believe in the source of existence, God. Now I have to look for what I have to do. It is a running away. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't look for what I have to do in terms of my practical, but it is nothing to do with believing Allah, God, the creator. It is something to do with another dimension of existence, which requires the necessity of the messengership. Teachers practically demonstrating what to do. All the ritualistic methods, did you find any word? Otherwise, forget about it. All the ritual, no, it is done. If I remember this, I'm reading this book anyways. I mean, another, as one of the sources I am reading. When I come across, I will take notes of that. So, it is, yes, we keep saying that in this class, it is extremely important to me. We have to establish a six-dimensional world for ourselves. First of all, we are here, like everything else, created beings. Yeah, given existence. More modest language. We are given existence by something. Okay, and there must be a source of existence. That's one dimension. Right. Search for it. Look at the universe. What is the purpose of it? I studied this maybe at least twice, as far as I remember, maybe more, living in its six-dimensional world. So he must speak to me, explain to me why he has put me in this position. But why means I have to look at the universe and justify this why. It means why cannot be listened or taken seriously unless you go the process of how the things come into existence. Only through how the things come existence, you understand that there's only one way. You understand that there must be a source of existence, because they cannot exist by themselves. So the taste of the ice cream cannot exist by itself. So I have to study how the ice cream functions, how, not why. How? And then ask, why am I put in this contradictory existence? What is the contradictory existence? I need full satisfaction. Ice cream says it is possible, but temporary. How can I go from this temporary satisfaction and reach permanent satisfaction? Question the source of it. Can it be? Can you be the source of the existence of taste? You put it right. Source of the existence of the taste that I am enjoying. Can you be by yourself? That's what the Quran says. Go and get your help from anything you thought that it was help for you in order to satisfy you. It means. Get it. That is called help. Why? Nothing can be the source of its own existence. It especially can be the source of the qualities of its existence. Qualities manifested in it cannot be the source of it. This is the, crux of the matter. This is the heart of the matter. What materialists do, run away from discussing this matter. They have no answer. Including the believers, they also run away from this matter, jump into going to the masjid. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't go, because another dimension requires what? Messengership. Through the messengership, we learn the rituals, practical side of it, which is called religion. Now, religion is only possible, ad-din in the language of the Quran, through the messengership. If there was no messenger, but the Quran is that no one can find out what the rituals are. Impossible. No one can find out how to practice it. What is taught in the Quran? Impossible. That's why we have to go and reach another dimension of this existence, which requires messengership. And when you take the messengership into account, you found out that the regulations, which is called in the language of the Quran, Sharia, the regulations are presented to us in order to, put a form to our life in this world, a kind of practical life apart from intellectual questioning, standardized. But it must be the result of intellectual satisfaction or intellectual activity. If the intellectual activity is neglected, messengership is neglected as well. What remains now? Only culture, cultural practice. So this is a very complicated subject. I hope, inshallah, I am praying to God that we have to work on it. Yeah. We call it this in the language of the Quran, abd Ma'bud relationship. How are we going to establish it? It has many dimensions. Now, this is not postponed. So,
I just have a question about rituals.
yeah.
So is it safe to say that rituals are not the source of satisfaction, of peace, of whatever we're looking for?
Now, if rituals are performed in this sequence, okay, the messengership dimension among 6 dimensions, one is messengership, all right? Others are neglected for the sake of concentrating on one topic now. According to dimension of the messengership, we satisfy ourselves by following this dimension's requirements of this dimension, but this dimension provides satisfaction in order to justify the messengership dimension. Well, it means, how can I reach there? I have to go through certain stages. It is a very practical language. I know that, I don't know the time now. 12:05. Okay, 12:05. Okay, it is late. But we have to deal with this, at least in a very summarized way, okay? Now, how can you accept the dimension of this existence, dimension of messengership in this universe? You have to go to, this is a very difficult question. I don't want to spend another time for it. Belief in angels. If someone is not aware of what angels represent, what angel, it means an aspect of this universe which always, if you like, emits messages, declares the source of existence, continuously glorifies the Creator in the language of the Quran. It is a living book. The universe is a living book, speaking book, if you like, if you are aware of it. Not only written pages, but speaking. What is written, pronounced. But you have to hear the voice. How? Whether you become aware of that it's a book or not. Without angels, you cannot reach the dimension of messengers. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the universe has no meaning, but there's a messenger? What are you, which message are you going to take me? Where can I find it? Even in the literal sense, the message the Prophet receives through, in the teachings of the Quran, angels. Yeah, where are they? So it means through realizing that angelic side of this universe exists, so that you can say there is a message, so that afterwards, now which stage? Of course, the source of existence first. Yeah. And then realizing angels. And then message is necessary from the source of existence. And then angels will carry this message, to me through a representative person, which is the instructor, right? So if you are aware of these 4 stages, as a result of this consciousness, practice this consciousness in your rituals, ritualistic practices, then the ritualistic practices becomes a source of satisfaction or peacefulness. It's a source of satisfaction for yourself. It is not that only pray. You heard that in a certain tradition, there is such a thing that you have to do. When you do it, you will feel satisfaction, or what do you feel in Buddhist tradition? Nirvana? You will feel in nirvana. Nah, I don't think so. Because it is not the ritualistic things that you are doing will bring you satisfaction. It will be a shirk anyways. Yeah? Through doing that, what reminds you? All the stages. All the stages. Then it is a kind of summary of your previous journey of consciousness or awareness of the dimensions of existence. Dimensions of existence here. I'm still in the world. I don't go out of the world at all for any reason. Impossible. Even if I study the message, I have to study the message here in this world. So everything boils down to believe in God is very easy. So it is not the point at all. But it is, very human to conclude that there must be something. But everything comes from understanding what angels are. Without understanding angels, you cannot go into another dimension of existence at all. If you cannot go into another dimensions of existence, you can just repeat yourself by repeating the culture and expecting that when I fast, if I don't eat today, I will be elevated. No, I try that every week, it doesn't work. So it doesn't work, but it doesn't elevate you. But your consciousness of fasting, what does it represent? This consciousness elevates you, not the action itself. But this action must be practiced in this world because we are in this world. Without eating the ice cream, you can never become aware of the taste of the ice cream. You can never question the source of the existence of the taste of ice cream. So you cannot get a perpetual satisfaction at all. You have to eat ice cream. So you have to practice something in order to put into practical terms what we have already concluded previously, that the universe has an angelic side. It is a spoken or the verbal message of the source of existence. And this verbal message is presented to you in the way that you are accustomed with, means speech, human speech. Human speech, understood? Human speech. So the message of the source of existence must come to me in a human speech form that I can understand the language. That's why I am enabled to understand the language, to communicate with my Creator through verbal expressions. So these verbal expressions must come to me through a means which speaks a human being, right? A human being. So that's why the messengers are necessary in one's life. All the verbal expressions must be present in my life. So these messengers are at the same time instructors. So instructs me how to organize my life in this world. So this fasting, going on Hajj, etc., are all included in the messengership, mission of the messenger. If you formalize this in your life and put it into practice, don't wait until you die to go to paradise. Paradise is in your head. You are at the presence of the eternal being. And in the presence of the eternal being. No problem. Okay. We are far from our deadline. So I'm sorry, but this subject, next week, we are going to study how to make this universe meaningful for me. And this is called using the universe in the name of God. How do you mean by it? How can I utilize the universe in the name of God? Which is the first word. So now we can study the first word. This is what I mean. After going all this journey, I said, it is time to study. What do you mean? What do you think? Okay, let's do it next week, inshallah. Let's start from it. I will bring the copies, hand out copies, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alim al-hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. So this is the end of the book of creation. After how many?
So we're not gonna do the last bullet. It's a summary.
No, that is what we covered actually. This what did we discussed all this. That's why I didn't want to. I didn't intend to study. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. See you on Monday and next Saturday.